that we were totally, there were two issues here. Nothing is ever monocausal. Number one is China is getting more aggressive all across the board. But number two is that we have been doing these patrols and they have been doing these patrols for the last 40, 50, 60 years. Okay. They keep coming into our side of the LAC, we keep going into their side of the LAC, and so on and so forth. The issue is, ever since Mao Zedong died, there have been no fatalities on this body, as in combat fatalities, for a very good reason, that these rules of engagement, we determined them 40 years back. Everybody thought that because there were no fatalities, we grew complacent. This one happened on a steep ridge. Now, if you go to YouTube, you'll find a lot of videos of our troops and their troops throwing stones at each other, beating up each other, and the use of baseball bats, cricket bats, including sticks studded with nails and things like that, has been happening for a very, very long time, 30, 40 years at least, right? This is nothing. The problem was that this happened on a ridge, on a narrow defile, which it was not suited for. And this is where your laid protocols over 40 years have met events. You know, as Kissinger used to say, events are the greatest enemy of any politician. This has been one of those events. Second, what happened was, we can kind of work this back, that when these guys met, a normal scuffle broke out, which then people started falling into the ravine. It was bound, because the height is about 400-500 feet. 400 to 700 feet, depending on where it happened. And everybody knew that those had gone down had died. And you never back off when your comrades have died. You have to keep pushing forward. It went on escalating from there. The Chinese overcommitted, sent too many troops into a narrow thing. It created a landslide, which is where most of the Chinese casualties happened, and some of our casualties too. This depends on what you assume the starting point is. I would say the to and fro incursions, us going into them, them coming into us, have been happening for 40 to 60 years. So it can't be a trigger. The trigger, it seems, for increased aggression on the Chinese side has been massive in Indian infrastructure projects. That India has been building ever since China reneged on its promises on Doklam and finished construction of the road that it stopped. Since then, Modi is basically, ever since he took over in his second term, he has been building massive infrastructure out there. Right? But remember, this is in response to China building infrastructure on its side, including in occupied territory.
Right.
Taken during the 62 war. So the question is, who is starting what? Right? The last piece of infrastructure that got completed just about a week back was in fact at the mouth of the Galwan, where we built a very, very strong bridge that can transport tanks and things like that, heavy vehicles across into the Galwan Valley over the Shok, right? Where the Galwan meets the Shok, we built a bridge over that. Now you tell me, if there were Chinese troops sitting on top of that, on both sides of the ridge at where the Galwan meets the Shok, how did they allow us to complete the bridge?
Right.
Second, we have put tents very, very deep in, exactly on the line of control, where the Shok turns west. So this Chinese allegation that we started it, I have photographic evidence that I've put out to show that the Chinese had been blocking the rivers for the last month and a half. Right. So we did not start this. They started it. We have tried to sort it out because they refused to get back to the status quo.